Today we are here at Trout Creek at the mouth of Crater Creek, and we're going to show you how to do a survey today. First I wanted to show you just when you find the mouth of a stream, you'll notice that the main stream here is Trout Creek. And Crater Creek enters here. It enters in two different locations, here and down here past the crew. When you have two mouths, this is a fast water unit to start. You'll just take the one that has the best habitat and the largest channel and start there. But you would add both the widths of both of these channels together to get a total width. So you would add the channel, the width of this channel plus the width of the channel down there. So we'll head down there and then we'll start our survey. Before you start your survey, you want to make sure that you have your header of your channel unit form filled out. Here you want to make sure that you for sure have the stream name. Very important to make sure that this gets transferred to every page that you work with. This one actually, and we don't have the HUC codes on here, which is fine for now. As soon as you have the HUC codes, it'll be good to get them. And also this page number in the corner, up top corner, is important as well. Then you want to have your date, you have your observers, and your recorder, and then you'll start doing your data sheet. But it's imperative that you make sure to have this filled out before you start your survey, and that you'll for sure transfer the stream name and the page number to every channel unit sheet that you use. Here we are, and Zane's got the drag tape. We're going to start our survey. Zane is going to deploy the drag tape, hopefully without too much trouble. We are using currently a 200-foot drag tape, correct? If you're on a smaller stream, you might use a 100-foot drag tape. The biggest important thing is you want to make sure that all of the... this is going to be trouble. You want to make sure that all the coils are out, and as the person is moving upstream, who's the observer, that if there are any kinks in the drag tape as you go up, that you want to make sure that you pull them out. So you may have to stop the observer as they're moving upstream. It's good if you can deploy into a stream or fast water next to you or in back of you, because that'll help to pull the tape away. As you can see, this is a good way, this is a good example of the potential problems with drag tapes. So you want to make sure that you get all of these out before you begin the survey. So here we are at the beginning of Crater Creek, and this is a fast water unit. It's coded with an F. Characteristics of fast waters are, I would love to ask you this, but I'm going to tell you. We got a turbulent surface, we got emergent vegetation, and generally most fast water units have gradient to them and have some slope to them. We'll move up to our next unit after we measure this one. From here, as we transition from that fast water at the mouth to what is a pool, which is also called a slow water, you can see where this surface turbulence begins to change and become more of a laminar flow. Most likely you're going to find right in here, this will be what is called your pool tail crest, and it changes into your next unit, which would be a slow. And the characteristics of a slow water channel unit, as you can definitely see here, is you have no surface turbulence, nice laminar flow, and you'll have scour, which means that you'll have depth in the pool. You will also have residual depth, which is your max depth of your pool minus your depth at pool tail crest. And that's if your pool, if your stream totally dried up, it'd be what would be left in your pool. You can think of a pool like a bathtub, where it flows out to one side and then flows over the edge. Where it flows over the edge will be where your where your pool tail crest is located. As you can see, this is a nice long pool or slow water unit. It would be coated with an S, and this would be our first slow water unit. So it's SO2 slow 1. So SO2 S1. And now Zane is ready to move up the stream. He has the drag tape either attached to him or in his hand. He may attach it to his backpack. And as the observer, he'll come upstream and he'll get a max depth and an average depth. An average depth is taken along the thaw wag, which is kind of the main flow of that channel unit, and he'll also look for a max depth along that unit. Ryan will stay at the bottom, and you'll see that Zane has now come to the top of the unit, or what he thinks is the top. And Ryan will look at the drag tape at the bottom of the unit. He's the recorder, and he'll stay there. He'll get that length number and write it down. Then he'll move upstream. He may be collecting wood or unstable banks, depending on how you decide to break up your duties. Also, somebody needs to take pictures as well and make comments. So as he moves upstream, he'll come up here and get the data from Zane. Now that they've completed that channel unit, Zane will give Ryan some information.
Average depth 0.6, max 0.9, no unstable banks.
So Zane mentioned unstable banks, so he's looking for unstable banks. Was there any wood in that channel unit?
No wood.
And there's no wood. So those are the attributes that you will collect. You have length, width, max depth. Average depth is a forest option, but it is recommended that you take it. You'll want to look for unstable banks, which is a longitudinal stretch of unstable bank, and we'll talk about that later. And you'll also want to count wood. So this pool, very seldom does a pool have a straight across pool tail crest. So in this pool we have a deeper section back in here. So Zane is going to go ahead and walk the pool tail crest, what we believe to be the pool tail crest, on this pool. And you can see as it curls around that edge and comes up here. So it's definitely not a sinuous line, or a straight line across the channel. So as you can see, we've got a little bit more gradient here. You might not be able to see it in this video, but this unit continues to climb a little bit. And so we consider this the top of that channel unit for the pool. So now we will go ahead and we will measure the depth at pool tail crest. Since we're done with that fast water, we're moving on to our slow water. So where Zane is standing is what we consider the pool tail crest. And you'll see a sinuous line across the stream. It has to be channel spanning. And he's going to measure along that line and trying to find the deepest spot. And that will be your depth at pool tail crest. And you're looking for max depth here. So as you find that, that will help you determine, as you get a max depth in the pool, you'll be able to subtract the max depth from the pool tail crest to get a residual pool depth. And that would be what would be left in your pool if this stream happened to dry up and there's only water left in that channel unit. Okay, so now we're ready to do this pool. So Zane has he's found a max depth and given that to Ryan, the recorder. And now Zane is going to pull that drag tape up through the channel. We're only looking for max depth in a slow water unit. You don't have to worry about average here. So slow water unit, you're going to be collecting your length, wetted length, average wetted width, max depth, your depth at pool tail crest, and then a forest option is formed by, and that is what formed your pool. This one will most likely be a stream bend as it comes around that corner up above where Zane is now. And that's coded SB. You can see he's getting into a deeper section there. Zane's also looking for unstable banks as he's heading upstream. There you can kind of see him. He just gave us the thumbs up, which means that's the end of the unit. So now Ryan is going to come down here and look at the tape and get a distance of that channel unit. And then as he moves upstream, he'll also get a max or a average wetted width. You can shoot that with a rangefinder or with a tape. It's up to you. Okay, so now we're at the top of the pool and Zane's there. So we are into another fast water channel habitat unit, but it'll be hard to see, but there is some what appears to potentially be unstable bank back in the underneath here. It definitely has had some flow in it, but it turns out that it's above bankful, but there's no material sloughing off that bank. It's more like a clay material, so we're not going to consider that to be unstable banks. So Zane can now continue on with his fast water unit. So as Zane moves upstream, it appears we have a secondary channel parallel to the main channel on the left bank. This channel here, so Ryan took that length from that spot so that they can figure out how long the side channel is by taking the length that where Zane's at to the end of the channel, where the side channel ends. This is called a side channel. It's parallel. It looks like it's got a vegetation. It needs to have an island with permanent vegetation. And you can see that there is some, looks like Cooley's hedge nettle and some other wet type vegetation, but it also has alder on it. So that would be considered a stable bank. So that would be considered a side channel. So you'd have a fast water channel unit, and then after that you would have a side channel. And we'll show you that data sheet when we get done with it. Your partner or somebody else can walk that side channel if need be. You'll need to get a length, width, and max depth on that side channel. And then Zane will walk up, and he looks like he's found his channel unit. So he's found his end, and Ryan has walked up, and they've now finished that fast water channel unit. Here we can see we have our side channel. So that's a channel that runs parallel along the main stem channel and then re-enters at some location along the main stem. But here you can see we have our side channel over here, and we have our main channel over here, and that's where we'll continue to habitat type on this main channel. Alright, so we came up to this channel unit and we stopped, and we realized that this, what looks like a pool because it does have laminar flow and less gradient, it doesn't meet our criteria for 1 foot of residual depth. So we're not going to call it a pool, but we are going to call it a fast water non-turbulent, which is is coded as an FN. So we're going to make it a separate channel unit from our regular fast water, but we'll continue with our Fs. And the fast waters are consecutive. So this is SO5. We're on SO5, and it would be F3, FN3. So we continue on. We don't start over with all F's are consecutive throughout the survey, as are all pools, are all slow waters. If we have a slow water and then we have a plunge pool, that's still in the pool habitat, so you would continue on consecutively with those numbers. So here we are on our fast water non-turbulent. So this is our FN unit. So we're going to go through, and Zane is going to again collect the maximum depth, average width, and he's actually getting an average width right now. He's just doing that with this depth rod. He's going to go to the end of this channel unit. Again, this did not meet our residual depth criteria, which for this stream is 1 foot. So it did not meet that, so we're counting it as a fast water non-turbulent. So he finished up the unit. Brian's going to get the width down here, and they'll go up and get other information. This is also sequence order 5. Which means that this is a measured unit. So in this unit you will collect your riparian vegetation, which will be covered later on in this session. You'll take a temperature, and if you collect Solar Pathfinder, you'll also take a reading of that here. And I will make a video of that later on as well. Here we are looking at the channel unit form, and I just wanted to make sure that there's an understanding when it comes to your numbering and sequence orders. So your sequence orders are always consecutive, 1, 2, and continuing on, and they consecutively go on. If you start a second reach, that would continue with the number from before and the reach before. It does not start over. The same with the channel unit types and numbers. You will continue, your F's will all be consecutive separately, and your slows will also be consecutive throughout. The biggest thing you need to be aware of here is that side S, that side channel S, that is not included in those main channel units in the consecutive numbers. Usually I don't put a number on my side channels, just said side S, so that means it's dominated by slow habitat. And that S1, the next S would be within the main channel, that would be consecutive, but do not include the side channels in those consecutive numbers. So now we're on what we think is a fast water unit. This fast water unit is pretty wide and is relatively short. So for a unit to count, it has to be longer than wide, unless it's a plunge pool or a special case. So we're going to take a length here, and we're going to do an average width just to see whether or not this will actually qualify as a channel unit. If it does not qualify, we will just add this channel unit to the channel unit below. So our length of this channel unit was
25 feet.
So 25 feet. What was the average width? 18. So does that count? So that's good. It counts as a channel unit, and so this will be a fast water channel unit. So this will be S6 and F4. And again, we'll show you a completed data sheet when we get done here today. So this was our side channel, and as we walked this side channel, we noticed that there appears to be what is a tributary coming into the side channel. So you want to make sure that you don't miss those types of things as you're working through your stream survey. We would take a temperature in here and then make sure it gets its own sequence order, and it would get coded as a T1 on the channel unit data sheet. Okay, so now we're on to, after that fast water channel unit, we checked out the tributary. Now we've got another slow water unit. So as you can see, we've got a good pool tail crest here. Zane was taking a max depth along that pool tail crest, and now he's working his way upstream and looking for that max depth. And you can see as he gets up around that corner that it gets pretty deep. Around that corner, so that's going to be most likely where that max depth is going to be. Take into account that Zane is 6'4", so he's got a little bit more height than some to get into those. So be aware when you're taking depths like that, if you're shorter, be sure you don't fill up your waders. So as you can see, as he climbed up to the top, that was a good example of getting to the end of the pool and how that gradient rose up and changed out to where you might be like you'd be at the top of a pool, bathtub. So here you can see we've got back-to-back pools, which is totally can happen many times within stream surveys. We'll have two pools back-to-back. If you've got a distinct pool tail crest between two channel units, and both channel unit pools are slow waters, then you would have two slow water units back to back. And just remember to continually, consecutively do your slow water channel units as well. You never start over on your slows or your fasts. You always are consecutively sequence them through the stream, even from reach to reach. And you can see it was quite deep in that corner. Again, this pool is most likely formed by a stream bend. It could also potentially be wood as well. That's something you'll have to determine as you're in the stream. We can't see him in, but he's getting towards the end of that channel unit. We can't see him. But a good way to signal if you have whistles or if you have or a good voice, you can yell and call to the end of a unit. And he's done. Ryan's going to get his length, and then they'll exchange information at the top. So here we are at the top of this channel unit. And they gave information. You see this one kind of, it's a strange how it comes out and it's long at the top. So you just split the difference at the middle. You went to the end, and then you'll start your channel unit, your next, what looks to be a potential fast or slow. We have to walk through it first to see. But there's another channel over there as well of water. We'll want to walk that to see whether or not that's a tributary or a side channel. Here we are, just doing a survey unit. We're starting on a fast water. Zane's got his drag tape attached to him, and he's going up the thalweg, which is the middle of the stream. He's trying to find a maximum depth along the stream as he's pulling the tape. He's also looking at what the average depth, by taking depths along the thalweg to get an average depth as well. This is a fast water unit, and as you can see up ahead, we have a culvert coming up. So now that he's come to the top, he just said cut, and we just finished up that fast water unit. Along with taking the length using a drag tape, you also need to measure the wetted width of the stream channel. Ryan is using a laser rangefinder to find an area that has the average wetted width and measuring that with the laser rangefinder to get that width. So that would be part of what we're looking for on this channel unit. So now we've completed that fast water unit, we've come up to a culvert. So when we do a culvert, we use what's called a special case form. This form has specific information that we collect specifically for this culvert unit. Now that we're at the culvert, we're going to measure specific aspects of this culvert. One is if there is a jump height. As you can see, there is no jump height or pool below this specific culvert. We're also going to say what kind of culvert it is. Zane, what kind of culvert is this? It's an open arch, so it's got a natural bottom. So we're going to then measure the diameter. So the diameter is from one side of the culvert to the other. And he's just doing that with his staff. $18 and a half feet? 13 and a half feet that culvert was. And then we're going to measure the height. And the height of that culvert is from the bottom to the top. That's 5 feet. What we're going to do from there, we're also going to take a gradient, try to get a gradient through this culvert. And we're also going to walk through this culvert with the drag tape so we can get a length. You want to note any kind of damage to a culvert and whether or not it has fish passage or if it has baffles. Baffles would be wooden steps that go through the culvert for fish passage. So now Zane's going to walk through the culvert. If you're claustrophobic, this is a job that you might want to give to somebody else. And once he gets to the end of the culvert, he'll yell and tell Ryan to get a final length. In an open arch culvert with a natural bottom, it's good to look for fish habitat, or if there's something else within that culvert, there may be damage or something like that. So make sure you keep your eye out for that. And also keep your eye out for spiders and spider webs. So Zane's at the end of the culvert and Ryan takes his. That length was what, Ryan?
53 feet.
So the length of that culvert was 53 feet. Here we have the completed data form for your viewing pleasure. So as you can see, I just wanted to make sure we go through and you get a chance to see final data sheet. It's not complete for the whole survey, but it's complete for what we did. You'll see that all the SOs and the information and how it's put in. I like to fill in the extra blanks with zeros just to make your data sheet clean and legible. And then I also wanted to show you then, to go with along with that, here is the special case form. And this form will be used when you do culverts and waterfalls and dams and and beaver dams. So make sure you always have these forms available with you, have enough of them available. And if you, when you go to put those in, that data in, make sure that it says on the special case, on your C form, on your channel unit form, make sure that you say C special case form, so somebody who's entering data knows enough to go and look for that extra form. So there you go, that's the data sheets of the survey, and hopefully this helps show you kind of just how to do a survey overall, and you'll definitely hopefully get more practice at your forest level. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I'll get your contact information will be at the end of this video.